Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So yeah, in this video I'm going to be talking about 10 first time watches for me for the month of April 2023. So that being said, I'm going to get straight into it with my first pick. This is a John Waters movie that I finally got around to watching. One of his later films in his filmography. That is Cecil B Demented. Really enjoyed this one, really had a lot of fun with it. Great cast, great premise about this sort of, well, demented filmmaker played by Stephen Dorff, who's just absolutely crackers. Really enjoyed this movie, based again on, one of those movies that's kind of like the making of another movie within the movie. And yeah, just had a really, really good time with this one. So yeah, that is Cecil B Demented. Next up, I watched a movie with one of my favourite actors, John Cusack, from the sort of early 2000s, I think. It's also starred Diane Lane as well, and that is Must Love Dogs. This was just a delightful movie. Had an absolute great time with this one. Great chemistry between the two leads as well. Yeah, just really, really enjoyed it. One of these, generic rom-coms that came out at the time, but it just had a bit of extra charm to it, this one, for me, and I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, that is Must Love Dogs. Next up, I watched a movie directed by Danny DeVito and also starred him as well, with just a great cast to this film. Robin Williams, Ed Norton, Pam Ferris, and that is Death to Smoochy. Just a great fun movie. So you've got pretty much Robin Williams, who is, at the height of his powers as this kid's entertainer with his own TV show, and the TV show gets axed. They bring in Smoochy, played by Ed Norton, to replace him, and he just wants to kill him and just have his revenge. And all these crime bosses get involved. It's absolutely insane. I really enjoyed it. So much fun. Really entertaining with a great cast. So yeah, that is Death to Smoochy. Next up, I watched sort of a Disney horror film from the 80s, which is kind of like unheard of nowadays. You just don't get it, and it's nowhere to be found on Disney Plus either. And that is Something Wicked This Way Comes, starring Jonathan Pryce. I just thought this movie was just absolutely awesome. Really, really cool. Really dug it. Kind of like those type of horror movies that involve carnivals. This is definitely be up your street. And yeah, I just absolutely enjoyed it. It's kind of like, because it's Disney, it's almost like a feature-length version of a Goosebumps episode or an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode. Just really eerie, really creepy, and I just really enjoyed it. So yeah, that is Something Wicked This Way Comes. Next up, I watched a movie starring Richard Dreyfuss, and this was great. This was called Let It Ride. Had so much fun with this film. Great cast to it as well. Dreyfuss, Jennifer Tilly's in there. Robbie Coltrane as the bookkeeper was great as well. Really enjoyed this film. So much fun. Sort of Richard Dreyfuss, who everything just seems to fall into place with him in this movie when it comes to betting. He's just a joy to watch in this film, and it was just so much fun. So yeah, that is Let It Ride. Next up, I want to give a shout out to Rock Gods 2004, Nige, for recommending this one to me. It's a Lucio Fulci movie from the early 80s. And that is The New York Ripper. Yeah, you'll never hear Donald Duck's voice in the same way again after watching this film. It was just really creepy, really awesome. Great gore effects in it as well. Had such a blast with this film. One of these movies that can be mistaken for a video nasty, but it never made the cut, according to Nige, when he told me about this film, which is really interesting, because I would have had this definitely pegged for a video nasty. But yeah, it was really awesome, really cool. Just enjoyed the hell out of it. So yeah, that is The New York Ripper. Next up, I watched, I think this was an early 2000s movie, if not a late 90s movie. Kirsten Dunst and Ben Foster, and that is Get Over It. Really, really fun movie with this one. It's also got Mila Kunis and Martin Short in it as well. Really fun premise to this movie. Really enjoyed it. It's got Ben Foster's character who his girlfriend leaves him for this other guy, and in order to like try and win her back, he auditions for the school play slash musical that they're putting on, and it's helmed by Martin Short, who is this really over the top and eccentric drama teacher, and I just had so much fun with it. Really, really funny movie. Really enjoyed it and just had a blast with it. So yeah, that is Get Over It. Next up, we've probably got my favourite movie out of all 10 of these films, and my word, I just had a blast with this film. The cast in it was absolutely stacked. So much fun. And that is Drowning Mona. Yeah, like I said, the cast in this movie was just great. Danny DeVito, Bette Midler, Neve Campbell, Jamie Lee Curtis and Casey Affleck were all in this film. And that's just mentioning a few names in it. But yeah, it was brilliant. Really enjoyed it. So yeah, without sort of spoiling it, going into it in too much detail, one of these characters on the cover here dies within the first 5 minutes of the movie, and the rest of the movie is all these other characters try to figure out what went on, what happened, and as the movie goes on, all these characters sort of have an interwoven part to play in what happened at the beginning of the film, and it's just brilliant. It's absolutely hilarious. Really, really dug this one. Just thought it was great, with an absolutely stacked cast, like I said. So yeah, that is Drowning Mona. Next up, I watched a John Landis film, and that is Susan's Plan. This is another movie with just an absolutely great cast. Billy Zane, Dan Aykroyd. How could Dan Aykroyd not be in a John Landis film? Rob Schneider and Michael Biehn as well. This movie was just absolutely crackers. I was surprised how kind of violent this movie was as well. Just over the top. Wasn't expecting it. It was just crazy. One of these movies just where someone plans a murder and it goes horribly wrong. Really, really fun. Really underrated Landis movie. And I just really enjoyed it. So yeah, that is Susan's Plan. And the final movie that I picked was another movie recommended to me by Nige over at Rock God 2004. And this movie came in a double pack with another movie called Parents. But the movie I'm on about is an early 90s movie called Fear. This is not the Fear with Reese Witherspoon or Mark Wahlberg. This is a completely different movie with a great premise. It stars Ali Sheedy from The Breakfast Club. And she basically in this movie plays a psychic who is helping the police hunt these killers. And she comes across a killer who has the same abilities as her. So that the two psychics, and this killer ends up playing with her and messing around with her. And it's just a cool movie. Really, really cool premise. Really enjoyed this one. Thought it was awesome. I just absolutely dug it. Had such a great time with it. Just thought it was brilliant. So yeah, big thanks to Nige for recommending this one to me. The other movie, Parents, wasn't too bad, but Fear here was really the gem out of this set. So yeah, that is Fear. So yeah, those are my 10 picks, guys, for first time watchers for the month of April 2023. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. If you've seen any of these movies, let me know. Let me know if you plan to check any of these movies out after I've recommended them, if you haven't seen them. And yeah, I'll just leave the video there, guys, and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.